to the basement.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? Guess what? I'm in the basement and you're watching Basement Boys Podcast. Y'all know me. I'm Devin D Money Mitchell. To my right, my homie, co-host, Chris. We need a nickname for you, Gray. And yo, let's just jump right into it. Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans.
The fuck?
Oh my God, they're falling apart right now, and that is not good for me because I have Derrick Henry in fantasy. Yeah, that's
I can't believe it. Like every day there was just reports coming out that someone new tested positive. Someone new. I think by Friday or Saturday there were up to 20 confirmed cases, which is like holy shit, man. Are you trying to be the Miami Marlins?
no, yeah, that's the only thing that is even giving me the slightest hope in this situation is that someone like the Marlins already went through this,
Mhm.
and then you saw the league kind of like be like, oh shit, we need to get our shit together,
Right.
and you haven't seen anything really since.
Right.
So that's what's giving me hope about the NFL season, but this does not look good. And now Cam Newton comes out. He tested positive. No one else in the Patriots has so far. We're going to find out today if the game's going to get played tonight.
Right.
But yeah, it's not looking good.
Well, I think the only good thing is that I've seen is that today there's been no positive cases.
Right.
So at least for the time being, hopefully for the future, they have that handled and it's on lock.
Yeah.
And we don't have another outbreak over there. As far as Cam Newton getting it, damn, that sucks because I have him in one of my leagues, but whatever, like the health is way more important. But I'm kind of glad it's only been contained to one person and they're able to um contain it and making sure that we don't have another Tennessee Titans outbreak.
Yeah, and I was listening to Bart Scott, I think, a couple days ago, and he brought up a good point. Or no, it wasn't Bart Scott, it was Anita Marks. What if you do get an outbreak like that and like all players at a single position are usually in the room together, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So what if a whole quarterback room goes down? Like I know the Eagles are paying Josh McCown $12,000 a week to not be on the team.
Right.
Just if they do have their whole quarterback room go down to COVID,
Mhm.
they can fly him out and they have a quarterback.
Right.
Like I wonder what other teams are doing to mitigate their chances. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's going the route of the Indianapolis Colts and having your punter be your like fourth string emergency
Well,
backup quarterback.
that is actually what it is for most teams. Like I don't know if everyone gets reps like Pat used to.
Right.
But like I remember the Jets opening day, maybe not opening day, maybe a couple games in, but very early on in the season, I think in the 90s, their kicker came in and threw like fucking like 3 touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, great day for him at the office.
Yeah, it was like one of the most crazy things ever. Like um but yeah, so like it has happened before.
Mhm.
But I just think like I think that's really a smart thought on the Eagles' part to be like, all right, Josh, we're just gonna keep you away from everything. So if shit does go down, we have a professional quarterback.
Right.
And say what you want about Josh McCown, like yeah, he's like the ultimate journeyman, like blah 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 blah. But he knows the game of football like anyone else. He's gonna give you a better chance than 90% of the backup.
Yo, first off, I'm happy for Josh McCown because getting paid like $12,000 a week to technically still play football, but like just be there in the case of emergency situation, so he can go out, hang out with his family, coach his kids' football teams. Like, well done, dude. Well, fucking done.
And I don't even know if he's like on like any like actual personnel. Like I don't know if this counts towards anything. Like I don't even know if he's on the practice squad technically. I think they're just paying him to be like, "Yo, stay in football shape,"
Right.
and he knows the system.
Right. Which I mean, we could potentially see a new trend while everyone is still figuring out, this virus and pandemic, we might see, quarterbacks getting paid to basically be like, hey, just in case of emergency, we might need you to come back.
We just need someone who understands how to read a defense or do this, that, and the third. Like, we just need someone.
Right.
Um, and forward thinking like that is why these Eagles lead the NFC East, baby.
Yo, let's be real. A trash can lead the NFC East. It's horrible.
Oh my God.
It is so bad. It's not even funny. Giants can't even get double digits. Cowboys can't beat anybody. Let's be real. They should be 0-4 if the Falcons had just jumped on that damn football.
Oh my God, bro. Like, I really thought the Cowboys defense would at least like catch Baker slipping once or twice this week, but that did not work out well for me. Not a great streaming option in fantasy football, but
Listen, I'm pretty sure going into the game, they would have been like one of the top streamers for this week. Like Baker, I like him. He is a little accident prone. Not accident prone, I'm sorry, turnover prone. Like he will cough the ball up or like throw the wrong pick.
I think his problem is he has that Ryan Fitzpatrick mindset.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to anyone, Ryan Fitzpatrick is one of the smartest, best quarterbacks that has ever been. Like anyone who's worked with him, but he just tries too hard. He tries to take the whole team on his back and make something happen that's not there.
Right.
When the team's down. And that's where you see these interceptions. That's why you see him have these Fitzmagic games where he's throwing 500 yards for 3 touchdowns and blah, 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 blah.
But he'll also have like 3 interceptions.
But even then, not always. But you'll see him have those games. But then the next game, he'll come back with 4 interceptions because he's trying too hard, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Right. It did look like I've seen a couple of highlights of the Browns and Cowboys game. It looked like Odell's back, or he's feeling himself. Like that end around that they ran, where he had to be at least 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I think it was on a 3rd down too. Was able to make a couple defenders miss, zigged when he should have zigged, zagged when he should have zagged, and ended up scoring a touchdown, which was just icing on the cake. It looks like the chemistry's there. He's healthy for now, and the Browns, they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, and I think everyone's been like writing him off, but I feel like this is the first year in like 2-3 years that he hasn't been struggling with some type of lingering injury.
Yeah.
Whether he can play through it or not, it does hamper you. And in a position like wide receiver where like it's literally that 0.5% that gets you that half a yard space to be able to make your catch, like that matters.
Right, and it hasn't always been like all his injuries have either been like, I think it was the groin last year, a hip one year, he had a hernia also last year. Like they're all stuff that he's going to need to be explosive and get that separation or be able to reach the ball at its highest point when he just seems to be like a half foot taller than everyone else.
Right. Also, fucking Juice Landry has a fucking cannon.
Who would have thought that?
Dude, he fucking Jarvis dimes. Fuck Danny, yo. Like,
yo, does that mean the Giants make a trade for Jarvis Landry to be the new quarterback?
Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. He just needs to understand that the football goes in his hands and not on the floor.
They also need to realize you can score touchdowns. Don't settle for field goals sometimes. Like, oh my goodness, it's rough, man.
I mean, I feel like they have to settle for at sometimes, specifically because he has no time.
Right.
And he holds on to the ball too long. So you can't risk it. You know what I mean? Better to come away with some points than nothing, I guess.
Right.
You don't want to be the Jets getting blown out like fucking $1.5 million.
Listen, we're getting blown out, but it's only like $250,000. I mean, $750,000 to like nothing.
Oh my God, we need CJ Mosley back.
Well, like this pandemic definitely threw a monkey wrench into a lot of people's plans. But hey, brighter days are ahead of us. And by brighter days, I mean 2021.
Yeah.
Like it might be a race to tank for Trevor.
Fucking at this point, the Johnsons could fucking keep Gase another 30 years. So I don't I,
No, no. Gase should be gone. What week are we right now? 4? He should have been gone 4 weeks ago.
yeah.
But realistically,
He should have been gone 18 weeks ago. Let's
True.
be fair.
True. But realistically, I could see him getting like these next 2 weeks. I don't know your schedules off the top of my head.
They're not gonna fire him midseason. That's never been their MO.
Really?
Yeah, they never fire people midseason. They always let them like at least ride it out.
Mhm.
And at this point, that's probably your best option because if we get the number 1 overall pick, which it very much look like we might.
Unless the Giants somehow reach
Yeah.
out to that.
Oh yeah, it's the War of New York for Trevor Lawrence. But
God damn it. Never thought that would happen.
I'd honestly, and I feel like Joe Douglas would do this. Just trade out.
Mhm.
Because you talk to anyone and everyone says Sam's doing all the right things, but there's only so many right things you can do.
Right.
And everyone gets caught up on that seeing ghost game. Every quarterback has that game where their line's not doing well, like they're getting hit left and right and like blah 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 blah, and they're anticipating too much and they're having a bad game. It's
Right.
going to happen.
Right.
He just got caught on a hot mic saying it.
Mhm. And you can get a lot for the number 1 pick. Remember what Washington, I think it was, got in return for or traded the Rams, I think, when it was RG3. And he went number 2. So like I think they traded like 2 first rounds or something like that for consecutive years, a couple third round picks, second round pick, whatever. You could get like a ransom.
Yeah, and Bart Scott was even talking about it, going back to Bart Scott. He has a lot of great insight when it comes to the Jets, being a former Jet.
Mhm.
He was talking about Jacksonville needs a quarterback.
Yep.
Probably still going to be pretty low in the or like high
Yep.
in the
In the
draft.
draft.
Yeah. So you're probably they're probably going to have a 2-3,
Mhm.
maybe like a 4-5 at the very least.
Mhm.
And then like as much as you like Gardner, fucking Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I love Gardner. I love the stash. Like, and he's had bad games, but like for coming in the way he did, he's been doing good.
Oh yeah.
But and I think they have 2 first rounds and 2 second rounds within like the first 40.
Right. So you
We
totally could see Jacksonville putting together some sort of package. You know, maybe one of them first round picks.
we could end up with 3 firsts and like 3 seconds within like the top 40, 45.
Yeah. And maybe even throw in like a player if
I-
they wanted to. Like
I honestly, I would just take the picks. 3 first rounds and another 2 in the
Mhm.
top 40, 45, which are basically like late first round picks.
right.
You could literally reset an entire team within a year with that.
I mean, look what the Dolphins have done. And they had God knows how many first round picks this past draft.
And what else did they do? What else did they do that really helped them out? Oh yeah, fucking fired Gase. Okay.
Ugh,
Ugh.
really, Gase needs to go. Like,
Like I don't even understand how even after last season, I don't know how you looked at that and there was just like and be like, you know what, that's the way to call football. Like Peyton Manning fucked us on this one because Christopher Johnson does not know any fucking thing. And he was just like, "Oh, Peyton said it. Okay."
yeah, Payne also says, you know, he's going to form a band with Brad Paisley. And Brad Paisley's like, nah, Payne. Like, there's some things that you listen to Payne, he knows what he's talking about. Some things you got to go and be like, Payne, I like you.
Love
You're
you.
cool. You're a great dude. But I'm going to respectfully decline.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it moving.
Yeah, so once again, football is just
It's rough.
yeah.
It's rough. At some point, we'll get a win.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully someone Oh, this could be the year of 2 0-16 teams, like, because we don't even play each other this year.
I was going to say, too bad we don't play the Snoopy Ball again, because at least someone will get it. Actually, no, knowing our teams, they would tie.
Yeah, right? That'd be fucking. I would take that over 0-16.
It would be the first year that I think your top 2 teams in the draft would have tied each other. and are probably at that point just separated by like points allowed or points scored or whatever.
Yeah, like ugh. Oh Lord, football's depressing.
Thank God it's only a once a week kind of thing.
All right, moving on, I guess. Fucking the NBA finals have been lights out.
Yeah, they have.
Oh my God, AD has been feeling himself. Not so much last night.
Well, last night it was a Jimmy Butler show.
100% the Jimmy Butler
Jimmy
show.
Butler put that team on his back.
And then Hero started feeling it in the second half.
Yep.
But he did not have a good first half, but in the second half, fucking that dagger in LeBron's face.
Mhm.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yo,
Kid's 20 and he's just like, hey, LeBron, fuck you.
imagine like just saying that if they do lose, just imagine how that's got to feel to be like, see that? Let's put that on the highlight reel.
And not only that, he can go up to LeBron and be like, hey, I'm the youngest player to ever make a final.
Right.
Not you, who
Right.
came here after high school. Get the fuck out my face.
Right. And I'm pretty sure I said that though, like Jimmy Butler going to the Heat was the best thing for him because that team is just a bunch of dogs that just, and Jimmy is the alpha dog there, but he just brings out the best of everyone, and
Yeah.
everyone is on the same page as, yo, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna bust our asses. Jimmy's at the gym at 5 a.m. while everyone else is there at 6 a.m. and he's already in a full blown sweat and be like, oh, nice of you guys to show up.
Yeah.
Like they're still showing up early, but Jimmy's beating them there. So I know everyone else is like, yo, all right, we got to bring it now. Like we're on his schedule. Like we're working hard. We're doing this for the team. And this is, I feel like, what the NBA needed.
Yeah, and I feel like Jimmy Butler's finally getting the respect that he deserves, like even from the team. Like he's always like everyone just already knew that Jimmy Butler was fucking fantastic, but they're really like Miami really views him, and now in the finals, people are starting to really view him. Even in like the whole postseason leading up to this,
Right.
starting to really view him as like, oh, Jimmy is that guy.
Mhm.
Like he is that fucking guy.
Well, I was reading that the knock on Jimmy Butler and his stops when he was in Chicago and Minnesota and Philly was be that he was a hard worker, but he would try to push people to bring out their best. And a lot of people just didn't like his style that he was going about that. And kind of like it ended up clashing, where,
He was trying to do the Jordan.
right. And it took him going to Miami and being surrounded by a bunch of players that all have that same philosophy, same ideas that, yo, we're going to work our asses off. Like, if you're not giving me 100%, get the fuck out of here.
And I feel like the guys in Miami, it's like a real. I feel like it's a pretty decent. Like there's some middle ground, but a decent split between young guys and old guys.
Yep.
So the old guys already have that like more hard nosed mentality of like,
Mhm.
yo, we're pushing each other, we're all getting this stuff done. And the new guys are coming into the league, like Hero is
Mhm.
coming into the league, just being like, okay, I guess this is what the league is. Gotta
Right.
respect it.
Right. This is what everyone's doing. Like, okay, like, let's fucking get work right now.
So everyone just kind of bought into the idea that of Jimmy Butler of just, you know what, we're fucking getting this.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put in the work. You better do the same.
Right. And if you're not matching Jimmy Bucket's level, Pat Riley, let's make a deal to get him out of here because
Right.
we don't need him on that team.
Also, can we talk about? It doesn't always show it on the scoreboard. I mean, I know he got one MVP, but it doesn't always show it on the scoreboard. But how big of a difference maker Andre Iguodala is?
Oh my goodness. I'm glad you brought that up. So, like, dude was the driving, I wouldn't say he's the driving force, but he was so good in Golden State. Where like
As far as leadership, apparently he was very much one of the driving forces. Like I'm sure Steph was there, I'm sure
Right.
KD was there, Draymond, like all of them, but like everyone was just like, all right, Andre speaking, listen up. You know what
Right.
I mean?
and him being that like NBA veteran who's got to be in at least like 13th year or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's been playing for a hot minute, but like he knows how to work, and he's not afraid to put the time in, and he is comfortable with like, hey, he might not be the big name star, but he's a great role player and knows how to help the team win.
Right.
Like, he's gonna do everything in his power to help the team and not, hamper them.
He's he might not have 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, eight, like 8 assists, whatever, every
Mhm.
week. Um, but whether it's through practice, whether it's through his playmaking and seeing the court in the game,
Mhm.
he's he gets everyone to be where they should be
Right.
to have the most success they can possibly have. And I
Right.
feel like that gets lost on people.
Yeah.
This man's been in the last 6 NBA finals.
Which is crazy.
LeBron never did that. Curry never did that.
Mhm.
KD never did that. And yeah, he's had great people around him to help him do these things, like the Stephs, like the KDs, like all these people. But still, he still did that. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like, while he's never been the star, having him on a team makes a difference.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like he is an extension of the coach. So, where in this case, Coach Spoelstra is calling out plays and everything, if Andre's on the court, he might, call an audible. He'd be like, "No, no, 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 guys, switch right now." Like, let me get LeBron or whatever it may be,
Right.
or like let's put Hero on Kuzma or something like that. Which is what I feel like a lot of championship quality teams also have, is someone that is kind of that floor general and will be able to be the extension of the coach and like make in play changes when the coach can't do it or whatnot.
And speaking of like that floor generalship, you see Rondo came out about how he like came at LeBron apparently after last season being like, "Yo, you can't do all this like when someone misses a shot like, oh,
Right.
like you can't be doing that. Like these guys look up to you. You are the GOAT. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are the guy when you are like they're trying to impress you. They're trying to soak in everything and when they feel like, look, he thinks I'm trash.
Right.
Like it really hurts them. And when you went over last year to Brandon Ingram or this year when you like Kuzma's like a little off and you just go over to him and be like, yo, bro, fucking, we'll figure it out. You're probably like a half second off on your release. We'll work on it. Like blah 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 blah. We'll get you back in this game. You see the difference it makes.
Mm-hmm. Which is sometimes all you really need is just to go over there, pick up that player, and be like, "Yo, you got this next time." Like, you know what? You, me, film session. Let's go over it together, and I'll tell you what I see, and you tell me what you see, and like,
Or even just that word of encouragement from the GOAT
right.
means so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's really not. It means so much more than like Rajon Rondo going over and being like, "Yo, bro, you got this." Like, well, I'm sure that means a great deal. When you are LeBron James,
Right.
it's just gonna carry more weight
Right.
when it comes to basketball. That's just how it is.
And it's funny that it's coming from Rondo, because when he came into the league, look who he was teamed up with: Paul Pierce, veteran; Ray Allen, veteran; KG, veteran; like Doc Rivers, veteran coach. And that's something that I'm sure like he probably went through the same thing.
I mean, that whole situation ended pretty badly,
Well,
but
it ended pretty badly and stuff. And yeah, like he did have to grow up and mature and everything. But I feel like him leaving Boston, making stops in Dallas and Sacramento, I think, for a little bit.
I feel like just seeing all these different people, like these stars, react when he was young and like getting the mentoring and the not mentoring and the
Right. You're getting now like a grown up, grown as mature Rondo, who it's never been. I feel like he's never been afraid to speak his mind, which is good because sometimes I feel like everyone might just be a yes man to LeBron.
right.
But having him being able to go up to LeBron and be like, "Hey, man, you need to work on your body language," because Kuzma and Ingram, even
Yeah.
though he's not on the team anymore, yeah,
But he was when they had to talk.
right. Like they're looking up to you, and it's kind of like a reality check that LeBron probably needed, which
Yeah.
is crazy to think that the goat
I mean,
needs.
they're gonna like, especially it's the second time that the choice happened. It's
Right.
like it's his first year with the team. Like, he's really started. I feel like while he's always kind of been the face of the NBA and wore that role, I feel like when he went to the Lakers, like the big market team, doing all these things, especially with like the whole like social injustice things going on, he's really taken the mantle of I am the voice of the NBA and
Mhm.
put that on his back.
Yep.
So I felt like in that first year he was feeling himself a little too much per se.
Mhm.
Like there's a difference between cockiness, confidence and like I don't even want to say cockiness, but while everything does go through LeBron, you can't always act like that
Right.
if you want the best results.
Right.
Um and I don't even say like he was like I don't even say this to like shit on LeBron. Like he deserves to feel like that.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to get the best results, sometimes you need to take a step back,
Mhm.
humble yourself a little bit,
Right.
and just be like, "Look, if we want this to work, we need to do this, this, and the third. And if we don't, it's not going to work.
Right.
So let's get it going."
Right. And that first year with the Lakers last year was that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I mean, let's be real. Once he left with injury and stuff, that team was like going nowhere. And now you see where they are when he's healthy, where they got a core that's looking up to him and he's helping out, and you got the veteran leadership in Rondo. You also got AD over there. Well done by the Laker organization.
AD has been cooking, man.
Yeah, he is.
Those first two games, like any other in the beginning of the postseason, any of his woes erased.
Yep.
Like he's fucking top 3 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like that's at least who's playing right now because we don't know what KD is doing at the moment. Like you know what I mean? But just he was hitting dimes from 3.
Mhm.
He's the big man who can shoot,
Right.
which is what you want. He's he's turning into what everyone thought
He could be.
Stops was gonna be. Chris Stops.
Oh yeah.
Like he's the unicorn.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, Chris Stops is good. Even though he left the Knicks, like I don't blame him because the Knicks are fucking trash. Um,
True.
but like he's really, really turning into that because earlier in his career he did struggle with the shot,
Right.
but he added that and he added it hard.
Right.
He was draining threes like they were nothing.
Yeah. Like he's like I was reading somewhere that like he grew up and he was playing the point back in high school. So you know he's got the handle. But then his size just kept growing and growing and growing. So like I'm sure in high school, like they didn't need him to chuck threes. They were like, hey, get down low and like, body some homies. And he can still do that. But now that he's added a three, it just makes him that more dangerous. Cause it's like, okay, well, if he gets the ball at the top of the key, used to be you can leave him there. He's not gonna make it. He's gonna miss. Now it's like, fuck, I gotta like stay up on him because he's might drain this in my face, or he might blow by me and just slam it down.
Yeah, and again, I think another part of this could be attributed to just that to this new LeBron James
Mm-hmm.
just bringing the best out of everyone
Mm-hmm.
because he's really sharpened it up in the last year.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he's been working on it and I'm not saying like LeBron is responsible for how great of a player he is, like not at all. I'm just saying that when first of all, when you're not the absolute leader of a team that's not that great as New Orleans was,
Mm-hmm.
even though they added Zion, which would have been fun for him this year.
Oh yeah.
But having the GOAT with you, you know what I mean? Having Rajon Rondo with you,
It's a different
yeah,
level.
these are not the same.
It goes back to that veteran leadership that like, hey, having a good veteran at that can make a big difference.
Because he knows he knows if I put up this shot and I do miss, I have LeBron there. I have Rondo there. I have Dwight Howard there.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot Dwight Howard's there.
Yeah. So I have all these crazy veterans who even if we lose this possession, we'll get it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have to put the whole world on my shoulders and everything doesn't need to be perfect if I want a shot of winning.
Right.
So it gives him a little more confidence to take these shots and do these things. And when you have that confidence, it's going to start to go in more because you make less mistakes because
Right.
it's a little more automatic.
Right.
Yeah, but this has turned out to be a really great series. It looked like it was going to be bad until Jimmy Butler said, no,
Yeah.
this is not what's happening.
And let's not forget that they don't have Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic. So who knows? Like, if they come back for game 4, we might be looking at a brand new Heat team, and maybe we're getting game 7 at some point.
every game I switch who I'm rooting for. Like I want to see LeBron do it because I want to see I want to see his like quote unquote GOAT status like cemented.
Yeah.
Like there are still gonna be people who like always go with Jordan, and that's fine.
As there always will be.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like, oh, how can you not see LeBron's better than him? But like LeBron deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
Like people say like, oh, didn't do the same things Jordan has, but they also neglect the fact that what he did with the dog shit team he had in Cleveland was absolutely disgusting. And then he goes to the Heat and starts killing everybody because he has Chris Bosh, he has Dwayne Wade, he has the people around him to like Jordan did.
Yeah.
People don't give credit enough. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, GOAT. Like, no one did the things he did. But he had Scottie Pippen with him. He had Dwight Howard with him. Steve Kerr was one of the best role players.
Dennis Rodman. You
What did I
said
say?
Dwight Howard.
Oh, sorry. I meant Dennis Rodman.
It's all good.
He had Steve Kerr, who's, in my opinion, one of the best role players of all time.
Oh, yeah.
He had the people around him that he could, where in the last minute he wanted the shot, and I get it, but he could rely on people. He could outlet, you know what I mean?
Right.
He could do this, that, or the third. He had people to work with, and then LeBron goes and does it with, as much as I like the guy, Tristan Thompson.
Yep.
With J.R. Smith running the wrong way. With, like, that was the time when his was completely warranted.
Right.
Like,
that was, oh my goodness. Yeah. Everyone went, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, but no matter what, there's always going to be that level of, not the level, but there's always going to be that discussion of who's better, and the thing that sucks is that every era has that GOAT.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's because they're in different eras. Like, there's never going to be a definitive answer. Like, Zion, he might be the next GOAT. He might surpass LeBron. It's way too early to tell, obviously, because it's only year 1, just finished. But who knows where he's going to be. And, like, after Zion, there's going to be someone else. And just like, we had Jordan before him. You had Magic and Larry.
For that, you had Wilt.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no matter what, like, every era has, like, their GOAT, who is just, like, at the time, undeniably, like, hands down the greatest of all time. But as, years go on, the game evolves, it changes. You're going to have different players, and you're going to see different players, like, style change from what it once was to what it is now.
And me personally, I always tend to go with the newer GOAT as the GOAT, just because in that time, the game evolved.
Yep.
Michael Jordan was so great because he was innovative. He did different things. He played, like, he used the same confines to, like, no one was doing layups like him.
Right.
Now, just the other day, I think it was Jamal Murray.
Yep.
Pulled off one of, like, pretty much the same dunk.
Yeah.
Not the same dunk, the same layup.
Yeah.
A harder variation, in my opinion. But that's because he learned it from them, and then they've had the time to discover it. You know what I mean?
Which is what you want as a player is, okay, I'm going to look at the greats of the past, see what worked for them, and what can I take from their game, put it into my game, and then flip it, reverse it, twist it up, all that good stuff. And then you got a brand new game that people are just like, what the fuck?
Put that thing down, flip it in reverse.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was trying to get there.
Yeah, so, like, I just feel like if LeBron of today went against Jordan of 93, I think LeBron wins. Just specifically because the game has evolved, because it's seen the things Jordan can do. And I think the perfect example of this, I saw an interview with Tony Hawk recently.
Yep.
And he was talking about how in 99 he does the 900. Couple years later, guy pulls a 1080.
Mm-hmm.
Couple years later, guy pulls a 1240
Right.
or whatever it is,
I think you're right. 1240.
something like that. Um,
Listen, we don't do math over here. We just talk sports and stuff.
yeah. So it's just because they saw, okay, this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's up the ante. You
Right.
know what I mean? By studying what Tony Hawk did, they could move on and bring it to something even crazier.
Right.
And that's why I always tend to go with the newer guy, because I think just the game has evolved.
Right.
And that's with anything you want to do, whether that's basketball, football, fighting, skateboarding, whatever it is. As you go on, you learn from the past and it just gets better.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see all the time, like, oh, this isn't the same game I played, like, we watched back when I was a kid, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because they're learning.
Right.
If it just stagnated, it wouldn't be fun anymore.
Exactly. They'd be like, all right, this is boring. We've been seeing this thing for X number of years. You know, you need that fresh, new player, new development, new game to come in and kind of throw everyone on their asses. You know, like, for example, the evolution of like the fours and the fours really being able to step back and hit threes.
Right.
You know, you look at people like AD, step back, hit a three, no problem. You look at KD, who's a four, but also can play just about every position because that man is 6'10", 6'11", something like that. All skin and bone, it seems like. But he is not afraid to put up threes, and he'll drain them.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can you stop that?
I think the perfect example is actually Phil Jackson. Look how the triangle worked.
Yep.
In Chicago, in LA.
Yep.
And then look how it worked in New York.
Oh my God.
It's because the game evolved. They figured out the triangle. They figured out what works against it, what doesn't.
Right.
I don't know. That's just where I'm going with everything.
Phil Jackson. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was.
Stick to coaching, my dude. Not a good front office. Great coach, but not great at front office.
I just think he was put in a shit situation to begin with.
I mean, yes, the Knicks are a shit sandwich, but you know what? No, there's no bright spot. There's no bright spot for the Knicks right now.
All right. Moving on, I guess. Baseball.
Yeah, we got the ALDS starting today on Monday, October 5th.
I'm worried about this game. The Rays have our number, man.
They do, but you know what though? I feel like things might be clicking for the Yankees right now.
I agree, but Cole's never gotten a win against the Rays. I don't believe.
Really? Wait, for this season or like his whole career?
I think his whole career. Like,
really?
He struggles against the Rays. He might have one or two.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 or 2 and 14 or something like that. Like
damn.
he struggles hard against the Rays, which worries me.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the Rays, even when they have bad teams, they just have the Yankees number for some reason.
Because they want to be the Yankees of the South, I guess. They're like, yo, let's see if we can knock off Big Brother.
Right.
You know, like maybe we get our shit together.
I think it's kind of just like how we feel, how like me as a Jet fan feels about the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's just that little extra because until like the last like 4 or 5 years, even when the Jets had bad teams, they'd usually sneak one from the Patriots.
True.
Just from playing with that intensity, that passion of just fuck the Patriots.
Right.
Not so much in the past few years, but you know.
There was a stretch where, you know, they, like you said, they would be able to sneak one victory out from the Patriots, usually in Foxborough nonetheless.
Even when they had a bad team.
Yeah.
Like everyone always worried about like, oh, we're playing the Patriots. I always knew we were going to sneak one until, like I said, the last few years where this organization has just completely fallen apart.
I think Geno Smith got a victory or two against the Patriots.
I think he's the only rookie quarterback to ever beat Brady.
Wow.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
That's wow.
Yeah, so it's just, I think it's just that's how like they play different.
Right.
they mind their P's and Q's a little more.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. But the bats have been raining recently, so
Mhm.
I'm hoping we got hot at the right time.
Hopefully. Hopefully
And
the layoff did not derail that.
yeah, but who knows? Ugh.
And who would have thought that in the NL, the Miami Marlins, who at the beginning of the season looked like they were left for dead, have turned around, made it to playoffs, made it to the second round of the playoffs. Like, let's let's give props to Jeter and Manley for putting together the right plan and executing.
And everyone I ever talked to when the COVID scare happened, were just like, at least it happened to the Marlins. It's not like
Right.
they're gonna make the playoffs.
Right.
Now here they are in the second round.
Surprise!
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here.
Don't let them know that like everyone counted them left them dead for dead to rights.
That's been happening a lot this year. That happened in Miami too.
Yeah.
When this series started, when the playoffs started, they were just like, oh, look at that, Miami made it. How crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got to the second round. Oh, no way. And then they beat Giannis, and they were like, oh,
Oh, okay.
Miami might be a fucking problem.
Right. This is gonna these are no longer like those little kids.
Yeah.
This is a real problem.
Yeah. This is, like, when they beat Giannis, I was like, no fucking way.
Mm-hmm. And then they handled the Celtics. Look where they at.
So I feel like a lot of people have been getting slept on this year.
Oh yeah. Well, this is 2020. I think everyone's just trying to sleep through this year.
That is the fucking absolute truth. Any more news you got, Dev?
I think we covered all the major sports that are happening right now.
I forgot to last week, and I do apologize to everyone. But I forgot to talk about fucking Adesanya and Costa, so I have to talk about it now.
Bring it on. Bring it to the table.
Yeah. Israel Adesanya is a fucking problem, and whoever thinks he's not and still thinks he's overhyped is insane. He played with Costa.
Mm-hmm.
Costa, who beat Romero, gave a slugfest of a fight against Romero. He's beaten former champions. He's like, and he just was not on his level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think John Jones' move to heavyweight was smart for him because I'll say it. I don't think John wins. I really don't. I never thought I'd say that I would see a fight and be like, I don't think John wins.
Yeah.
The only way he wins is if he gets him to the ground, I feel like. Israel's striking, his counter striking, his everything. And John fights smart, so I feel like he'll sit back a little more
Mm-hmm.
and not feed into the counter striking like Costa did.
Yeah.
But Adesanya is just so smooth with it, man. Like, it's really, that Costa fight was probably the best MMA striking I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was a masterclass. It was beautiful. Just the way he was setting things up, angling off. Costa would rush in, and he wasn't even phased. And Costa throws bombs. Look at the guy.
Right.
Fucking, I was so impressed by that performance. He was just cool, calm, collected, did his thing, and now everyone's killing him for dry humping him after he knocked him out. And Costa's really mad about it. And all I have to say about that is just like, Costa, I get it. It's disrespectful.
Right.
But you were being fucking mad disrespectful the whole lead up. You, like, keep that same energy, my guy.
Well, isn't it always like there's always a few that can dish it out, but whenever it's their turn to receive it, they're like, "Oh, that's not fair, man. That's disrespectful." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then you see him being like, he came out with a video. Oh, I was hurt. Oh, is this? Oh, is this? And like, I'm not trying to say the guy was making excuses, but it sounded like he was making excuses.
Yeah.
And that's just not the mindset if you want to get that one back. Because if you go into the mindset, oh, I only lost because I was hurt, it's just like, my guy, no, you didn't.
Right.
Like,
You got outfought. You were outfought.
he was outclassed completely.
Right.
And if he goes into if he does come back and get a second fight against Adesanya,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes in with that mindset, he's gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just what it is.
what weight class were these? Where was Adesanya?
185.
Okay, so what's that? Heavyweight? No, that's light heavyweight.
No, it's middleweight.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm way off.
yeah, light heavyweight's 205, heavyweight's 265.
Okay.
Um, and so everyone was talking about him going up to 205 to fight John Jones, but John Jones now moved up to heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
But Izzy said, like, I'll fight him at heavyweight. I don't give a fuck. I'm sure they're probably gonna have John fight Stipe first, though.
Right.
But
This-
I
this-
really want to see that Adesanya Jones fight now.
This will be Jones's first fight since getting in trouble, right? Or has he fought since everything went down last?
Which one?
I feel like John Jones, like,
Since the DUI, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's his first fight.
okay,
The Reyes fight might have been before that, but might have been after that, but I'm not 100% on that timeline. Yeah, so those are all just fucking fantastic fights. Adesanya is a fucking monster. Jan Blachowicz, every time I think he's gonna lose, wins it,
mm-hmm.
and had a great performance against Dominic Reyes. This past week, Holly Holm showed why she's still there.
Right.
Show why you gotta have the. Don't come at her with striking unless you're one of the best boxers, kickboxers in the world, because that's what she is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just all around fun fights recently. The UFC has been great since this whole Corona thing happened. Like the cards they've been putting on have been absolutely fantastic.
And honestly, I feel like they've been handling it the right way. They've kept everyone safe, and everything they've done to ensure like they put on great fights and keep their fighters and training staff and employees safe has been top notch.
And they're not afraid. Like the Gilbert Burns Usman fight, you ended up getting the Masvidal fight, which was even bigger, but like that's their main event, and they got the test, and they were just like, "Hey, you're pulled, you're out.
Yep.
Sorry." Like it is what it is. Like, and yeah, they're gonna do right by Burns. Don't get me wrong, but like they're not afraid to blow up their main event to keep everyone else safe.
Right. They're looking big picture over here.
Right. But that's all I got for today, Dev.
Well, just gotta say, felt great to be back originally in the studio. First time ever actually being a basement boy in a real basement, not from some random ass location. But thank y'all for checking us out. Make sure you click like and subscribe to our videos, and catch y'all later.
See ya.
Deuces.
Welcome to the basement.